I wanted to share a couple more ideas for using the Brooklyn alphabet dies and the Brooklyn number dies. These are really simple techniques. I've cut out some cardstock. It's about 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these letter dies that are 2 inches tall. I'm going to center them in the middle of each one of these pieces, and then I'm going to die cut. And then when I'm done, I'll be able to make 3 cards with one pass through the die cut machine. So I have all of my pieces die cut, and so now I want to show you the 3 different ways that you can use them. First of all, of course, what you can do is use the individual letters on your card to spell out your word. This one, for example, says whoop whoop. You can also use the negatives. I cut each of the negatives to the same size, so it was about 1.5 by I think 2.5, because these are 2-inch dies. So you can put these on your card like this and spell out your words, and then you'd have to put down your inserts too. But that's an easy way to use every single piece of your die cut, so there's no waste, which I know as crafters, even though we like to hoard things, we don't like to waste things. So that would be another way that you could make a really cool card with whatever word you wanted to do. The other thing is that you can also use these letters as stencils. And I showed you earlier in the video how I used a stencil, or I created a stencil to make the light. I inked through the cardstock to make the light, so you could do that too. You could lay these on here. I like to hold it down again with this Post-it note tape. It comes off easily, so you could ink up each of those letters. Now, there's lots and lots of different ways that you can embellish these letters, which make even more fun with these awesome letters. I created this happy birthday card, and as you can see, it has lots of bling to it. So I use sequins, and then I use glitter. Sequins, glitter, sequins, glitter. So it has a pattern to it. When I did my sequins, I used score tape. It's the smallest score tape that they have available, and it's almost exactly the same size as the letters, so it does hang over tiny bit. So I would just push that part up, and it didn't seem to be a problem. So you can put your sequins directly on your card. What I did was I tried to find a sequin that completely matched my cardstock, or matched it closely so that they complemented each other should you see the cardstock underneath. You can also use a clear sequin on top of the red paper, or an iridescent that kind of catches the light. That's pretty as well. The other thing that you can do is you can use glitter, which is what I did with like the A, the P, and the exclamation mark, as I use glitter. You could also use glitter paper if you don't want the mess of the glitter, but I used whatever glue pen I had available at the time. I just put my glue down on there with a glue pen, dumped the glitter on, and let it set so that it dried. You can use colored glitter that would match. This is orange, so it would match my P here a little bit better. You can use just a clear glitter that has glitter in it, and then you'd be able to see the cardstock through the glitter, which is what I did with this P. I didn't have any green that matched exactly like that, so I used clear glitter, or clear embossing powder with glitter in it, and that way you can see the color of the cardstock underneath. The other thing that you can do if you don't have a lot of glitter, you can always use embossing powder, which will give it a shine or a sparkle or a matte, whatever kind of embossing powder you want to do. But you would do that by taking your letter and pressing it into your watermark ink pad. This one is Versamark. Pressing it in there until it's completely covered, and then I like to use a really sharp pointed tweezers to pick up my letters when I'm doing these projects. And then you would just dump it with whatever embossing powder you're using. This embossing powder has glitter in it, so you could do the color that matches, or again, you could use a clear embossing powder. When I showed you this earlier, I was showing you embossing powder, but you can also use, I meant to show you this clear glitter. So you can get lots of different clear glitters. This one is the embossing powder that you would use and then melt onto your letter. To get kind of a similar look as the embossing powder, to make it shiny, you can also use glossy accents and just go carefully over your letter. This will give it shine, and it'll also give it dimension. So that's another thing that you could do. Now, if you're going to use your letters as a stencil, like I used for the Be a Light card, here I just used it as a stencil and I used ink. But there's so much texture and embossing paste on the market. You could do white on a darker cardstock. You can use some of the glitter and gel clear embossing powders that are on the market, or you can use the colored embossing texture powder on your card too. So that would be another way that you could get that nice shine, nice glitter, a little bit of texture on each of your letters. Here's one more look at my card. And thank you for joining me today.